Everybody smiles in the same language. A smile, let your light come shining through.
Welcome to the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. I'm Sandra M., coming to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico, the land of enchantment. I interview people from all parts of the world about what happiness means to them. What are they in love with? In each episode, we'll give you a key to happiness to include in your life. And of course, we'll play a happy tune from my live Celebrate Happiness Roadshow.
A smile doesn't cost you anything. But there's so much good.
Welcome to the second season of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. And don't forget to catch up on any episodes from season 1 you might have missed. Today we're talking with Michelle Dillon, who is a marketing professional with a gift for bringing people, ideas, and brands together in meaningful ways. Currently in her marketing role at Jade Global, she helps shape the company's voice through executive engagement, corporate branding, high-impact events, and thought leadership initiatives. Michelle has more than 15 years of experience in the information technology industry, spanning chief executive officer relations, company brand elevation, public relations, and strategic event management. Michelle is known for creating experiences that connect, inspire, and leave a lasting impression. Outside of her work, Michelle's heart belongs to her family, the outdoors, the call of adventure. She is an advanced certified scuba diver and is happiest exploring nature and marine life surrounded by water. She's also a great cook and loves sharing meals, discovering art and history, and finding any reason to explore new cultures and destinations. Michelle says that for her, happiness is about connection, being fully present with the people she loves, exploring the world with curiosity, and helping others along the way. Welcome, Michelle, to the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. You know, I'm so excited to talk to you about happiness. And so how does it manifest in your life?
Well, thank you, Sandra, for the warm welcome. I'm so grateful that you've decided to have a discussion and have a conversation with me today. And happiness, I think, is a choice. That's how I feel about manifesting things in your life, right? So there's a feeling that you get, and when you feel, it's so much easier, I feel sometimes, not to be happy. And it really is something that you choose to be. And for me, that's every moment of my life. Every breath that I take, I feel is a chance to be happy. And I think that's how manifestations actually come into your life, is if you choose that.
Fascinating. You know, I know a little bit about your background, and you are rather internationally based, right? So you come from a culture in the South Pacific. Where is that? Yes.
Well, I was born in Manila, which is the capital of the Philippines, but I was actually raised on a island in the Pacific called Saipan, and that's about 4 hours from the Philippines, and now my family resides there, but I did come to the States to pursue my education and the opportunity and freedom that the U.S. provides, and that in itself is happiness, right? The pursuit of happiness is actually in our Bill of Rights.
Right, exactly. So is happiness sort of thought of in a different way in Saipan and that culture? Is there a different language there?
Yes, well, it's actually a U.S. territory, so most people speak English on Saipan, but there is a native language there called Chamorros and Carolinians, which are South Pacific Islanders. So I check mark that box when I'm asked what nationality I am. And yeah, the happiness on the island and in the Philippines it's very family oriented, right? So being amongst your family is gathering on the weekends and the dinners, and that ideally is how we create happiness, is being able to share it, right? And that really stems from your roots, which is your family.
That's very interesting, because in the States, I don't think family is emphasized very much anymore. Well, in certain cultures it is, but overall, it seems that in the States, we've lost that sort of connection. What do you think?
I would agree. There is definitely a divide and a different generation, even as I watch, life evolve. I myself have been in technology for over 15 years, and oftentimes it's supposed to bring you together, but it actually can also divide you apart. And what I mean by that is there's a social aspect of social media, right? So it's supposed to be social, but oftentimes it can actually keep you apart or provide certain judgments that you have certain people or even of your family. And that connection, I would agree with you, Sandra. So there's that face-to-face or the commonality of gatherings happening. Although I am a marketer of technology, there's definitely that human aspect that we need to continue to nurture. In this world, there's AI, and sometimes you don't even know what's real anymore, right? So how do you distinguish real happiness versus created happiness?
This I have never even thought about. I mean, to me, real happiness is something you create, right? Like you started off by saying it's a choice, right? And who makes the choice? Well, you make that choice, right? So
exactly.
In a way, you're creating it. Like I know that you like scuba diving and water, and you live on a boat, you told me. So obviously you made those choices, and that makes you happy.
Absolutely,
is that correct?
Yes. That is absolutely correct. Being around water, there's actually a Bruce Lee saying that says, be like water, right? You can be hard or you can be soft. It depends, but you can be moldable and bendable. So if you put water in a cup, it becomes that cup, right? If it's water in the ocean, it's that ocean. If you put water in a vase of flowers, it becomes that vase. And so creating and being like water, for me, that provides happiness. And I chose to actually we sold our home, and we decided to be one with nature. And we live on our boat in Chicago, and we winter in Florida, and we've been blessed and fortunate to be able to do that.
Do you take the boat to Florida?
No, we actually, during the pandemic, there was a divide, right? There's that isolation that you had. And my husband and I said that we weren't going to, be part of that isolation. And we decided to actually get an RV, and we quarantined in our RV, going into different states and exploring nature that way. So it really gave us an opportunity to fast pace kind of our retirement dreams.
Join Sandra M. for her live performance of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow, a toast to love and happiness in life, an uninhibited musical adventure guaranteed to awaken your happiness vibe. Celebrate with upbeat rhythms, love songs, and fun stories, some told by you in the audience. Sandra's musical guest and accompanist, Todd Lowry, sings his hopeful and happy originals. To book Sandra M. and the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow, email sandra@sandramcknight.com. Celebrate happiness with Sandra M.
Wow. So where did you explore? I mean, this is fascinating to me. I mean, I love the idea of just, so which states did you go to? Did you meet different kinds of people? Or what kind of nature? Each state has a different nature, a different landscape, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. And you learn so much from nature, right? Not just water, but how mountains are created and how things are overcome and how places are built. And I've been very fortunate to be in technology where I was able to actually, work remotely. And so as long as I had internet, I'm blessed with that. And that in itself makes me happy that I'm able to have that freedom where so many people lost their jobs, right? Because they needed to be in a physical address. And so you don't want to limit yourself and you want to be able to explore because there's just so much out there that if you feel you can't create happiness or it's hard for you to find, I think it will actually find you too, as long as you're true to yourself. And you asked, where did we explore? We actually decided to head west. So we went to Hot Springs, Arkansas. We actually spent Christmas in Colorado. And we actually discovered the Grand Canyons. It was my first time in the Grand Canyons.
Wow. And you stayed in RV parks? Or is that where people take their...
Yes, we stayed in different RV parks, and we got to meet people from all over the world, from Canada or people flying in from Europe and actually renting RVs to do the same type of passions that we had.
I want to go back for a moment. Okay, so when we're talking about AI and you're saying real happiness as opposed to AI-generated happiness, since you are an expert in technology and in marketing and social media, etc., could you give an example of what AI-generated happiness actually it might be, or how does it look?
Absolutely. So there's a difference with that human connection. You were saying oftentimes maybe the different generations that we've had now, we sometimes feel a divide. So if I go on to, biggest thing right now is ChatGPT, and it's an AI tool. I can say, write me a song or a poem about Sandra McKnight, and it will actually search every cookie or database that you have online, and it will write me a song about you or a poem about you. So it just does the work for me. So is that really a poem that I wrote? No, it's not really from my heart. It's really taken from what you have already out in the World Wide Web. So is that real?
Right.
Is that real happiness or a real poem from me meeting you and talking with you? No, it's actually generated. So it's artificial, right? So AI is artificial intelligence. And so it provides a convenience for us where it can do the work for us, but is there really meaning to it? That's the question, right?
Okay, so two things you just said. So is it really from my heart? Could you expand on that? In other words, if people write a poem from their heart or their feelings or their passion or however they identify their heart, does AI have a heart? I have no idea.
Exactly, right? So that it does not. So it's got a brain and it's got a bank of database and information, which is IT, information technology. But making it personal and making it meaningful based on your personal interactions, that's the challenge that we have today, right? And so when you think about even countries, for example, in Japan, they're having a population decline because the younger generation are dating online and having assumptions and are not willing to date anymore or have these relationships. And in order for us to survive as humans, we have to, procreate, right? We have to have that meaningful connection that in order for us to make other humans for us to continue to exist.
Wait a minute, I don't get it. They're dating online, but they never see each other? They just talk online all the time?
Yes,
Really?
yes, yes.
And they don't even crave to actually touch each other or, hold hands or
Exactly.
see each other physically?
That's correct.
I can't believe that.
Yes, yes.
Really?
It's quite interesting because, in history, if I'm going, that's actually one of my passions as well, is learning about different cultures and history and how it becomes what it is. In China, they were, for female daughters, there's such a, when you had so many children, they were giving female daughters up for adoption, right? And so there was a population crisis back then. And now you come back, decades later, centuries later, there's a population decline. So that kind of tells you something. So there's that connection, right? So is AI making happiness for you, or is it taking happiness away from you?
Okay, so if these people who are dating online and they think that is that's just fulfilling enough, is happy enough for them, then I guess that's their happiness, right? They have bought the Kool-Aid, so to speak, from my point of view. That's enough, right? I don't have to actually take a walk down a beautiful cherry-lined street and feel good by holding hands with somebody else, for instance. It's just amazing to me. Wow. And so let me go back to, this is what you would call artificial happiness. This kind of dating would be considered AI happiness or artificial happiness.
Yes.
AI generated.
AI generated, right? Because if you, going back to what makes me happy is being with family, and if you can't be with your family and you're online dating and you're not seeing each other physically, getting that connection, how do you create a family? How do you continue that happiness?
Yes.
And so you have to choose to date online, or you choose to meet or not meet. And if you look at statistics now, there's just a decline in population.
It also seems to be true in the United States, but I thought it was because people didn't want, women decided they didn't want to have babies for whatever reason, many reasons.
Yes, there's definitely many reasons for that, but there also are other reasons in different cultures that create that, that create that problem. So how do you teach the future generation to choose to meet someone, to be happy with someone, versus being happy alone in front of your computer?
And I was reading this man, Greg Braden. He was talking, and even he has this on the Facebook. He's doing a whole course, and this is a man who I admire. He's on the level of Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton. These are futurist people who have done a lot of studying about the quantum field and the consciousness that we all come from, this type of thing. And he was talking about the fact that in 5 years, humans will be extinct. In other words, just like elephants would go extinct for whatever reason biologically, right?
Yes.
That in 5 years, humans will no longer, they will so integrate AI into their existence, they don't have to think anymore. In other words, you just say, write me a poem, right? You don't have to create the poem. So you're actually losing your humanity, is what he is saying. And he says this will only take 5 years. Interesting, I thought. I thought it was scary myself, because I love being human. I really do.
Yes, indeed. It makes me happy to be human.
Yes, exactly. And I think that when it really gets down to it, in my mind, it's the life force. Creating another human being, and not only us, but all animals, insects, the whole idea of a living entity, the emphasis on the word living, right? As opposed to artificial.
Exactly.
I think is really what we're talking about. And nature is all living. I mean, plants procreate, let's face it. You know, they have the bees and so forth and so on. Yeah. So, I mean, wow, this is a really interesting to me. And because you're in the marketing and the social media, you face this every day, right?
Indeed, yes. And so, you know, in my role in marketing and in the IT industry in general is to attract people to go online more, right? But you have to be able to make that choice to be in a chance to, for example, there's people that are online and they'll scroll on social media, and before you know it, it's 45 minutes later. And there's a science to it, right? Because there's only so much attention that your mind can have. So that in itself, you have to provide limits and make those choices that I'm only going to be online for 15 minutes versus 45 minutes. You've wasted that time going out for a walk or enjoying cooking a meal or having a conversation with a friend because you've decided that you're going to scroll Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn for 45 minutes and not realize, why am I doing this? So that is that choice you have to make.
And so, okay, let's just get down to the whole I have two questions. One, do people care anymore about making choices? Or do they realize that they are making a choice to be online for 45 minutes, for instance? Or do they just do it like a habit, an automatic habit? They live on their phones or whatever, on their tablets, on their computer, right?
Yes, I mean, it's
so they don't really think about.
I
go ahead.
It's called mindless scrolling, right? So I have a rule at home. If we're having dinner, there should be no phones allowed. You automatically get a notification and you're distracted. You can't even have a conversation anymore. So your choice is to put the phone away and to have a conversation over dinner. Is that phone going to make you happy, or whoever's texting you or sending you, the next viral reel? Is that really important at that moment, or is it more important for you to have a conversation with your family and ask them how their day was?
Yes, which is okay. So I'm just asking you, do people realize anymore that they can have choices, that they're actually making choices, or do they just don't even think about it anymore? They just immediately are addicted to the phone, to whatever it is, the next thing that they're supposed to do.
I think that it's both ways,
people
right?
make choices.
Yes, it's both ways. They have studies where people can't sleep or have disturbed sleep because they have their phones on their bedside charging, right? And that's the first thing they do when they wake up is to look at their phone. And I've been a victim myself, where first thing I wake up and I'm looking at my emails, right? I'm in tech, so that's my job. But I have a choice to turn that off and put it away so that it's not within arm's reach, so that I decide to wake up and I meditate for an hour versus checking my email first thing in the morning. So to answer your question, it goes both ways. So you have to make that choice to put your phone or to give you those time limits of how much you're going to be online, right? Because then it becomes like I mentioned, AI, right? So is that really what makes you happy in the morning? It's just to check your email or to walk outside and enjoy the sunrise? Which is it?
I'm a victim of that myself. I have to say that. I do that, and I actually put my phone down. And one of the things that saves me, and I wanted to ask you about it, is nature. I have a huge garden. I mean, I have a couple of acres of trees and et cetera, and they all need attention. Believe me, rabbits eat the hollyhocks, and I'm growing beans, and I have to make sure this is done, and such has to be fed, and then I have to water. And I'll be out there for hours, and it just connects me to life again. It's just amazing. And then, of course, your animals also, right? If you have pets and that sort of thing, pets don't look, your dog doesn't look at the phone, right?
Exactly.
And
They
says,
feel
I want
you.
to go for a walk. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
They feel your energy.
So
they feel your energy.
Yes, right. So do you think nature will save us at all? At least the people who have nature around them?
Yeah, I myself am a nature. I have a garden as well, and I actually just took a foraging class this past weekend, and it talks about how we need to nurture nature, right? And in order to do that, again, it's a choice, right? It's a choice for you to wake up. If you don't water your garden, it won't survive.
So what I'm hearing basically is we start out our conversation by saying that manifesting happiness is a choice, that it's so easy to say, I'm unhappy. I'll just go online and I'll scroll for 45 minutes and then I'll feel like I'm connected, right? Or something or other. So we get down to the fact people can't be alone, right? They can't really be alone because they have not gone inside and they have not really listened. This is my feelings anyway. They've not listened to their own heart, what really makes them happy, what do they want to do with their moment, with the moment, because we live moment to moment, right?
Yes, indeed.
So I'm wondering if that is really the essence of happiness. It's an inside job, and we have to start training our people to really go inward and say, okay, what makes me happy? What do I like? What
yes.
And make those choices.
Yes.
What's your thought?
It's a choice. I absolutely agree. Happiness is a choice. When we are born into this world, do we have choices or do we learn them? And the first breath of a child is a cry, right? They can't nurture themselves. We have to nurture the child. We have to feed them. We have to change them. We have to provide warmth and food in order for this child to grow as a human, right? And the same goes for nature when you need sunshine and water and good soil. And so those, as we develop and are able to make those choices, it needs to be practiced.
I was going to say, do you think that along with water and food, the nurturing also should be to make children aware that they can be empathetic, that they can be kind, that they can be generous to themselves and to others, that these are also qualities these are human qualities that just have to be nurtured, have to be encouraged?
Absolutely. We have to practice happiness as well as making it a choice. This is how I feel.
Right. And so often I've done a number of these episodes, these podcasts, and a lot of people talk about just learning to be grateful for what you have, or just to be grateful for the sun and to be grateful for the fact that you're alive, that you wake up in the morning, because a lot of people across the world, a large number of people do not wake up. They just don't, for whatever reasons, right? And so just the fact that you open your eyes and you can see the world, well, you have to have a certain kind of awareness, a certain kind of empathy for yourself and compassion for the world itself in order to even notice that. I think people just wake up, as you said, and jump on their phone.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
I couldn't agree with you more, Sandra. It's like I mentioned, it's that choice, right? You have that choice, and once you make that choice, you need to practice it. It's like a muscle. If you don't move that muscle, it becomes
atrophy.
Exactly. So it's a happiness muscle, let's say. So now that you have that now that you have that choice, let's practice that.
In other words, if you don't use the muscle, if you don't use your happiness muscle, it becomes atrophy.
Exactly.
Is that a word? Yeah.
Exactly, right? So you have to be continuously, a smile is infectious, right? And when you smile, it then creates someone else across from you to smile. They choose to smile or not smile. But if you don't practice it, how will it grow?
I just love our conversation because I have not had a conversation with anybody who has so much expertise in social media and in technology and AI, and yet still has a very grounding in humanity and in nature, etc. And you coming from a different culture, not just an American culture where everything is highly competitive from the get-go, right? So, island culture, I think of it as like, island time. Is that what they call it, right?
Yes, it's island time. We arrive when we mean to, and we sing songs, and we're happy. And oftentimes people, if I'm in my element, they'll say, "You sound like you're singing when I'm talking." But that's really how it should be, right?
Yeah, in my opinion. But I don't think people realize it anymore. I mean, I'm just really have to think more about this idea of losing our humanity. Well, we've come almost to the end of our time, and I really have enjoyed our conversation. I'm wondering if you have any last thoughts you want to leave us with.
Well, thank you so much, Sandra, for having me on your podcast. And like I mentioned, right, happiness is a choice. But once you make that choice, you also have to practice that choice. And think of it as the happiness muscle. The more you practice happiness, the more happiness you receive and you manifest.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Sandra. I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for you.
Here's today's key to happiness.
Get plenty of sleep. 7 or 8 hours every night is good for health, brain function, and emotional well-being. Your body has time to make the necessary adjustments for optimized functioning. Some tips for better sleep are:
Write down the number of hours you sleep and how rested you feel to get a better idea of how you are doing.
Go to bed and wake up at the same time every night, including weekends.
Reserve the hour before bedtime as quiet time. Take a bath. Read. No heavy eating or drinking.
Keep your bedroom dark, cool, and quiet.
Invest in some good bedding.
And if you have to take a nap, limit it to 20 minutes.
Newsflash. Please sign up for your copy of our Keys to Happiness at sandramcknight.com. Thank you for tuning in to Season 2 of the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast. And if you enjoyed the conversation, please help spread the word by sharing with your friends and family. Before we go, I'd like to thank today's guest, Michelle Dillon, for sharing her happiness story. And to share your happiness story on the Celebrate Happiness Roadshow podcast, send an email to sandra@sandramcknight.com.
Turn your smile on, you can't go wrong. You'll find that love is all around. Follow your bliss, no